Hi, this video is called Mooji and the Devil, and I'm making it because I have the greatest respect for Mooji. I've listened to him a lot over several years and received tremendous benefit from his teachings and pointings, and 99% of everything that he says I can confirm in my experience. I completely see where he's pointing. But there's one area where I don't agree, and it's concerning his use of the devil. Now, and the idea of negative forces. The student making progress is attacked by negative forces and the devil himself. Now, to me, this is just not skillful or true. What really happens when we make a choice to invite greater light, to move forward, to grow, to expand our understanding of the self and of life, then whatever was unconscious to us, that is in between us and that realization, comes into conscious play. So you could say that love or light or satsang or the power of truth or the field of energy of satsang brings up anything unlike itself for the purpose of healing. It's a natural and beautiful process. So what kind of things would come up? You might find you suddenly get angry at the teacher. You might find that you suddenly feel rebellious. You might find you feel lazy or lustful. You might feel hopeless. You might have to contend with just suddenly being really cynical. All those potentials were in you. And the satsang is purifying them and bringing them to the surface. Arrogance. I've found tremendous arrogance. You don't know you're arrogant till you see it. You don't know that you're conceited until you see it. And satsang brings this up. To demonize unconscious material surfacing is a big mistake, and any psychologist would tell you that. Don't demonize the material that's surfacing. Don't separate yourself from it. You will become schizophrenic. You'll have this idea of yourself as good and holy and consequently act spiritual. And on the other hand, you'll have this negative idea of yourself, which you're now denying is actually you. It's all you. The whole point of realizing the self is to become one, and then perhaps none, but to become one, not two, not me and it. No, it's all me. It's all an expression of this consciousness, which has at its center a sense of I. It's all part and parcel of the same thing. It's not healthy to talk of the devil. The devil, with horns and a big erection and a forked tail and a long tongue, black, massive, the devil, if he was to appear in front of us, he would turn out to be made of light, just like everything else. A configuration of mind, not a reality. It's not some separate entity leading me from my practice. It's not some separate entity taking me away from what my better self would choose to do. It's me. And growth is making choices. Who am I? Am I going to be arrogant? Am I going to be resistant? Am I going to be cynical? Or am I going to go with what my heart feels and knows? And continuously making that choice, it redefines who you are. Now, many people, through listening to Mooji, come into the experience of awareness. How wonderful! How wonderful! The Buddha talked about ways of establishing ourselves as awareness. One of them is to recognize the contents of the mind as contents of the mind. Meaning, you're sitting there and you go, oh, I get it. Look, now that this anger has come up. Oh, how interesting. I wonder how long it will be there. Oh, now look, I'm feeling, so much love for the Guru. He's so kind. Oh, now look, I really don't like the way that person did that. Look at my ego reacting. That's interesting. So the awareness allows you to just see the contents of your mind without getting carried away by them. So now, my mind is reacting. Now I'm very still. And by maintaining that place, awareness becomes established. You don't keep changing for every single feeling that comes up. You know that it's behind that. There is a stability. A bit like in a movie screen. The movie screen, no matter what happens in the movie that's shown on it, wars, bullets, bombs, whatever, when the movie's over, and in fact all the way through the movie, the screen remains absolutely untouched. It's not helpful to fight your mind. You have to let it be. And when the mind is strong, that's when you make choices. And if you relax, a point comes to make a choice point arrives. You know what? I choose to this, I choose this, I choose peace. I don't choose to be like this. And after a while you can get to feel it and just recognize it as what it is. It passes. It's part of you. It's not an outside force. It's certainly not the devil. We are trying to create a new paradigm for humanity. And one of the ways that we're doing this globally is generating satsang fields of pure light, high vibration, where everybody can sit and where they've got their best chance of resolving into that bliss, into that peace, into that presence, into that satsang field. To bring an antiquated notion of the devil into that environment, a very old archetype that's charged with all kinds of filth. We don't need it there. We don't need to we don't need to describe the reaction that one comes of moving forward into the light as being attacked by the devil. It's not helpful. Now, why? I was thinking about this. Why would Mooji, who is so, so spot on in so many ways, why would he speak like this? And then I remembered a time when I actually went to his hometown of Port Antonio in Jamaica. And it's a wild old place. It's a beautiful place. But there they have, on the one hand, a very vibrant and quite orthodox Baptist and other type of Christian worship. Very, very orthodox and right on it. And I believe that his mother was such a person, a very devout woman, a very devout Christian. And at the same time in Jamaica, they have a thing called obia, which is voodoo. It's a Jamaican version of voodoo. And I encountered some of this while I was there. And it's the two together give an ambience of, spirits, of demons, of a lot of superstition, and its antidote, Christianity. So it's probably from his conditioning that Mooji Baba has this idea of the devil. But I don't think it's something we need to drag into a non-dual world. Just as we're all coming into unity, just as we're all coming into oneness, just as we're all feeling the singularity of life, just as we're all seeing that everything's made of the same thing, just like in a sleep dream, then to bring up the idea of a devil attacking us. It's just not a good idea. No, the way to describe it, I think, is the brighter the light, then what comes up. It's like anything that you choose to do, any possibility you invent for yourself, then that's the future you're living into. And then your present is informed by that future that you've chosen to be free. And then your pathway becomes the realization of everything and the resolution of everything that stands between you and it. So this can happen over a long period of time, or quite quickly, or in an instant even. So I'm just a bit concerned, and I know that I'm not the only one who feels that way, that we don't need to bring the devil into satsang. I don't actually think talking about mind is that helpful either, to be honest, but that's just my preference. There is a wonderful awakening that can be had by listening to Mooji Baba, because when he speaks, it's not information. When he speaks, it's not poetry. When he speaks, it is the direct invocation of what he's talking about. That lives get changed in the hearing, liberation through hearing. And in that environment, one sentence heard in that level of satsang can change your life. I remember hearing him say, "You are freedom." Up to that time, I was trying to attain freedom. I was having relative degrees of success. When he said, "You are freedom," I got it. I really got it. And it never left. I'm always freedom. I'm always the sky in which various weather conditions, as states of consciousness or thoughts or actions or drama or karma arises in, but I'm that sky, always. So just one day, one sentence was enough. And that's how powerful satsang can be. So this is not meant as a criticism or, any form of disrespect. But I feel free to say it. We must be free to talk. We must be free to express ourselves. And, I'm just very happy that I coincided with Mooji at some point, because it's really helped me. And I hope that if you haven't, that you follow your heart right to that place where you are freedom itself.